Karen called 911 on my solar panels, then froze when the officers read the law aloud. My name is Ray Dupree. I'm a high school physics teacher, a single dad, and the proud owner of a net zero energy home. After years of saving, I finally installed a rooftop solar array last summer, a system so efficient it powers my EV, runs the AC, and even sends energy back to the grid. I didn't think it'd become a war zone. But then again, I hadn't met Karen Bowman yet. She lived 2 houses down. The first time she spoke to me, it was to ask why my grass looked too native. The second time, it was to warn me about the aesthetic dangers of rooftop equipment. The third time she called 911. It was a Monday morning in May. I had just finished teaching my second period remote class when I heard the doorbell ring and then pounding. I opened it to find 2 officers on my porch. "Sir, we've had a call about illegal electrical installations on the property." The taller one said. My heart dropped. What, Karen stepped forward from across the street like it was a stage play? "That man has unauthorized solar technology on his roof. It's a fire hazard and it violates community standards. I want it cited immediately." One of the officers blinked. "Ma'am, this isn't a code enforcement call. You dialed 911. I had no choice." She snapped. Nobody from the HOA would respond. I stepped aside, motioning to the solar inverter mounted near the garage. "Everything is permitted and certified. This system was installed through the State Green Energy Initiative. It was inspected twice." "Do you have documentation?" the officer asked. "Of course." I handed him a folder. Karen tried to grab it. "Ma'am, please step back," the second officer warned. That should have ended it, but it didn't. She filmed the officers. She yelled at my son on his way to school. She even handed out homemade flyers calling solar panels the new asbestos. At first, I laughed, but then she started organizing. She called herself Interim Director of Solar Regulation for Rosewood Park, a title she made up, and suddenly, 3 other residents found HOA-style notices taped to their mailboxes. Unregistered photovoltaic array. Cease operations or face community fines. None of them were legally enforceable, but they scared people. So I started digging. Turns out, Karen had applied to become a third-party zoning auditor through a website that had no affiliation with our county, just a private LLC that sold vanity certificates. She was trying to use it as leverage to form a pseudo-HOA complete with fines, complaint forms, and energy oversight panels. But here's what she didn't know. I'm not just a solar user. I sit on the State Energy Awareness and Compliance Board. I helped write the actual policy she claimed I broke. I gathered documentation, videos, testimony, and neighbor reports and took it to City Hall. Then I filed a formal complaint with the State Attorney General's office regarding harassment and impersonation of a regulatory official. The response was swift. Karen was issued a cease and desist. Her fake HOA activities were exposed in a public memo, and her oversight notices shredded in front of the neighborhood board she was trying to hijack. But the final blow came when the local news picked up the story teacher harassed over solar panels, HOA fraud busted. They aired body cam footage from the 911 call. Millions saw Karen insisting my roof was too shiny for safety and that I might be harnessing more power than the neighborhood grid can allow. The comments were brutal. This is why science class matters. You called 911 over sunlight, Karen protector of HOA and destroyer of common sense. The school invited me to give a presentation on solar energy. Now that I was sort of famous, my son, he beamed with pride. Karen, on the other hand, vanished from the sidewalks. Her house went up for sale a month later. The new neighbors. They brought cookies and asked me about my panel installer. Now the cul-de-sac glows a little brighter. 2 more houses have joined the solar movement. The new neighborhood group, Voluntary, Inclusive. Real includes green education as a pillar. We even painted a mural on the community center wall, a sun rising over rooftops, its rays turning into power lines and books. Because the future isn't something you find people for, it's something you build together. And the sun, well, the sun doesn't care about fake HOAs, but it sure loves justice. The end.